From very humble beginnings in Pigeon Run, Ohio, Ben Fairless grew to become one of America's most influential men of the 20th century. Throughout all of his success, however, he never lost his personal qualities of hard work, fairness, justice, and belief in the American free enterprise system that he learned growing up in the Justice area. Benjamin Franklin Fairless was born at Pigeon Run, Ohio, just west of Navarre, on May 3, 1890. He was the son of David and Ruth Williams. His father was an immigrant Welshman who worked in the coal mines surrounding Justice and Navarre, and he was one of 4 children. At the age of 5, Ben was sent to Justice to stay with his aunt and uncle, Sarah and Jacob Fairless, after his mother was severely injured in a horse and buggy accident. Ben was later adopted by his aunt and uncle, who operated a grocery store in the front of their home. It was from his adopted parents that Ben continued to learn the value of determination and hard work. Growing up, Ben worked as a newspaper boy for the Cleveland Press, beginning at the age of 5, and as a farmhand during the summer months. While attending high school, Ben also worked as the Justice High janitor. Young Benjamin attended school in Justice and graduated from the 3-year high school in 1905. Upon graduation, he taught 18 pupils in the one-room school southeast of Navarre for a salary of $48 a month. From 1909 to 1911, Ben taught at the Navarre School, receiving a raise to $55 per month. Ben completed his 4th year of high school during summer vacations and attended the College of Worcester, known then as the University of Worcester. He worked hard, saved his money, and borrowed an additional $200 from Judge McClintock and enrolled as an engineering student at Ohio Northern University. Ben graduated from Ohio Northern and began his civil engineering career in June of 1913. He began by working for the old Wheeling and Lake Erie Railroad in Brewster, a forerunner of the Norfolk and Western. His steel career was to begin rather serendipitously about 3 months later. Ben read in the local newspaper that General Jacob Coxey and his army were planning a second march on Washington to protest the hard times of the unemployed. As Ben traveled on the train to Massillon to watch the Cox's army, surely as an impulse, he decided to get off the train and investigate the buildings going up for the Central Steel Company's new plant. He lost all interest in Coxey's army and headed for the superintendent's shack. He was told to leave his name and address. After waiting 10 days with no word from the superintendent, Ben paid a second visit and was received with open arms. The steel company had lost his address, and the opportunity would never have materialized if he hadn't followed his hunch to bother the job superintendent. As it happened, Ben got in on the ground floor, and the 23-year-old was working for the Central Steel Company as a civil engineer and began what would become a legendary career within the annals of American business. Very quickly, Ben advanced to mill superintendent, general superintendent, and vice president in charge of operations. When United Alloy Steel of Canton and Central Steel merged in September of 1926, Benjamin was made president and general manager. In April 1930, when Ben's company, along with several others, were combined to form Republic Steel Corporation, Ben moved to Youngstown to become executive vice president. Ben stayed with Republic Steel until the autumn of 1935, when he accepted the position of president of the Carnegie Illinois Steel Corporation, a unit of the United States Steel Company. In October of 1937, Benjamin Franklin Fairless was elected president of United States Steel Corporation, as well as chairman of the executive committee. In 1952, he became the only man ever to hold the dual positions of president and board chairman of United States Steel. At this point, Mr. Fairless had United States Steel Corporation producing as much steel as the country of Russia. Ben was the very model of the rugged individualist. He gained the top echelon in business by what friends and foes alike called ingenuity, diplomacy, and hard work. Mr. Fairless could, and did on occasion, talk gruffly to congressmen if it was warranted. However, His aides described him as a fine man to work for when you knew your job. If you didn't want to work for him. He was popular with shareholders who frequently applauded him at meetings.
The tradition of the steel industry is that a furnace be named for a woman, and so this furnace was called Hazel for Mrs. Fairless. In the same tradition, the number 1 blast furnace was named for Nancy, the eldest of the Fairless grandchildren, and so Nancy was chosen to light up her furnace.
Ladies and gentlemen, to say that I am pleased and proud of the honor which has been paid here today to the ladies of the Fairless family would be putting it mildly, very mildly. Among steel men, of course, a blast furnace is always known as a lady, and it is named for one. Not because the furnace is a thing of shapely beauty, exactly, but because it is inclined, at best, to be somewhat temperamental. In this case, however, I want to assure you that if the Hazel furnace, which we christened a few moments ago, and the Nancy furnace, which we are about to light, should happen to possess the same gentle dispositions and the same energetic characteristics that have been displayed in life by the ladies whose name they bear, then Fairless Works will never have much trouble with its iron.
Ben Fairless married Blanche Truby in 1912. Mr. and Mrs. Fairless had 1 child, son Blaine, and 4 grandchildren, Nancy, Caroline, Patricia, and Benjamin. Mrs. Blanche Fairless died in September 1942, and Mr. Fairless remarried in October 1944 to the former Mrs. Hazel Hatfield Sproul. Ben gave generously to charities. He contributed, along with his son Blaine and grandson Benjamin, 300 shares of common stock in United States Steel to the Justice Evangelical Church. An avid baseball fan, Ben learned his baseball skills on the vacant lots around Justice. He caught and played first base for the old Massillon semi-pro team, the Mauger French Agathons. In his later years, he bought stock in the Pittsburgh Pirates and became a director of the team. Although Benjamin Fairless became the most powerful leader of one of the largest, most powerful American and world corporations, he was proudest of the naming of the school district in which he first studied and worked as the Fairless District. This occurred in 1957 when the Navarre, Brewster, and Beat City Wilmot school districts were consolidated. In a 1957 address to the Fairless graduating class, Ben said, "To all those students and to the new Fairless School District officials, and certainly to the parents and friends of these schools, I add my humble thanks and appreciation for such a wonderful honor. It makes me feel proud indeed to know that my name is associated with one of the highest callings in life, the education of young people." Ben Fairless became a major contributor and leader just when the steel industry and America desperately needed both. He served on the World War II production board and later advised President Eisenhower's administration on a host of issues, from studying foreign aid programs to monitoring the actions of the CIA. Whether it was running one of the world's largest and most important companies or advising a president, Ben Fairless brought a fierce competitiveness, a personal drive for excellence, and pride of accomplishment that truly made him one of America's most successful and admired individuals. Mr. Fairless believed that the recipe for success had 4 essential ingredients. Choose a career you love, give it the best there is in you, seize your opportunities, and be a member of a team. In no country but America, Ben believed, would it be possible to fulfill all 4